The VAR Show. The one place for your weekly football update.
Hola, very warm welcome to the VAR show, the show which talks about all the various major football leagues detail. Today we're going to continue a theme of interviews and we have super agent Wilbur Lasrado with us today. So for those who do not know, Mr. Lasrado represents the likes of Rafael Agosto, Ian Hume, Andy Keogh, Nerijas Valskis, Sahal Abdul Samad, Jobby Justin to name a few. So without wasting much time, I would like to thank Wilbur for coming on the show. Thank you and welcome to the show. And I would like to begin by asking, how are you and what are you doing during this pandemic period?
Well, thanks so much, Shubhashish, for having me out here. It's indeed a pleasure, to sit down here and speak to you. Um, I'm doing very well. I hope you're doing good too. And this pandemic has been pretty much of a blessing, I could say, in disguise, where I'm using much of this time to be around my family, be around my loved ones, spend more time with them. Also, try and focus on work, do a lot of other things. And yeah, it's just been a great, it's a great moment as of now, I can say.
So we'll jump to a lesser, lighter topic rather, football. So you currently work for Inventive Sports UK as a player relation manager, or commonly called as football player agent. Did you always want to be an agent? Like, people want to be coach, want to be player, but like at least in India, I have not seen. And since this maybe the game is still in its infancy, like to have an agent, like it's pretty new for me also. Like.
See, football has been, I've been very passionate about the game, right since when I was young, and I always wanted to do something. I was really passionate about, really wanted to be in the game. Having played the game myself, I knew what it would take, for me, to be in this player's shoes. It's very easy to understand them. It's very easy, to translate the feelings that they're going through, and probably relay situations together. So I always, as I said, if I'm into the game, I'm 100% into this game. And if I wanted to do something, I always want to do something that I was really passionate about. This game has, I'm really, been mad in the game, I would say. And I'm very grateful to God, for having given me this opportunity, where I can make a living out of, doing something that I love. I can make a living out of something, that drives me every day to wake up and, just go hitting once again. And, that's all I could say. It's been something that I wanted to do. I'm doing it, and it's something that I love, and that drives me every day.
So I've always been fascinated, about transfers, because you always hear like a 75 million transfer, 120 million, or even a free agent. Like, what happens in a transfer? Can you just say us, like, as an agent, like how do you start? Like, like the basic, like even the talk initiation to maybe the finalized output. What happens in a transfer?
So basically, to give you an overview and a heads up about how exactly a transfer works, I'll tell you. So now we do represent a set of players. Now, say for example, it is a Sal Abdul Samad, or it is a Joby Justin, or anyone for a matter of fact. Okay, what we would do first is as a priority, depending on how the player is doing well. Okay, we would go about to approach clubs. Okay, speak to the CEOs, or maybe the technical directors, or whoever's in charge. Just have a quick discussion. Maybe if in case it is the other way around, if the clubs are directly interested, they know we're his agents, they would upfrontly come, and then we start discussing things. Okay, but normally, I'm just giving a heads up, an overview about how it works from both ends. So when we start discussing, we discuss about the player with the club officials, etc. We put their details, their transfer market details and things. They do their own research. go through videos and stuff, see how the player would be suited for the project that is there. And, accordingly, then we start discussing. Now, me as an agent, okay, I would not just, want to discuss about money and other factors. For me, a lot of things that comes in, when I sit down to negotiate for my players, okay, a lot of factors involved. I'll give you an example. To me, yes, money plays an important role. It's about the environment, it's about the stay, it's about, the playing time, it's about how much the player is wanted. Because for me, what I feel as an agent, okay, being into the game, I know what, would matter much for the player. If the player, is getting good lifestyle and everything, okay, he's passionate about the game, but he's not able to play the game, with his feet. Say, for example, he's made, he's signed for 90 lakh transfer, okay, just giving you an example, and he's made to sit on the bench, okay. That's not benefiting him any way, that's not going to, make him feel happy, make him feel wanted. He's going to be mentally disturbed in a way, okay. Yes, monetary wise, he's going to be fulfilled, but at the same time, if you see mentally, he's not going to be happy, okay. So, all of these factors involve, for me. And, accordingly, seeing what is the best project for the players, that's where I would want. I would discuss all the options again with the player, okay. And then ultimately, sorry, after discussing all the options, I would give him my opinion, and ultimately it's down to him, to tell us what exactly and where exactly he wants to go, what he wants to consider, and, that's how we proceed further. And then we get into advanced discussions, and then, that's how it works.
Okay, on you mentioned some names there. Okay, so like, how do you get players into your agency? Do you go to the players or the players come to you?
It works both way rounds, okay. So basically, now, I'll tell you one way. When the player comes to us, okay, say for example, now when you're working with some elite players, I'll give you an example of Ian Hume or Sal Abdul Samad, or, or Jobby Justin, or anyone. You're doing work for them. You're doing the good work for them. Okay, you're getting them their contracts. You're being there for them in their difficult moments. Okay, you're being the person who has a back even in good and bad moments. Okay, like I said, getting them the necessary, the marketing, the endorsements, and everything. Just managing them well. Okay, obviously, there is a word of mouth. There are people following on social media. There are players following. They approach at times. Okay, and the other way around is maybe, when we scout a talent, maybe when we see someone, that is really good for our project. Now, say, there are players, who are very well disciplined enough, and, we believe that he has the qualities to, get up there and, you know be on the same page with us, go on the same project with us. That's when, at times we do approach players, okay, depending on what the situation is, and we take it further from there.
Okay, like, this was just again my question. Okay, so have you taken any kid, like out of like obscurity and maybe today is a household name?
I'm sorry, can you come back again?
Like, have you taken any kid, who was not known or something, and now today in the Indian football is a household name? Is there any player or an example?
I'll give you an example of Sal himself. To be very honest, Sal was a kid back in the UAE. Okay, he just played, his college level football and stuff. He came down to Kerala to pursue a degree. He was getting his degree done simultaneously. He played, for the Santosh Trophy. No one really knew the kid. Okay, the kid then was signed up for Kerala Blasters in the reserve team, and trust me, I'll be honest, nobody knew about, how talented this kid is. Just, he had a few techers, and, he was a good guy, good person, I could say. But nobody knew he had so much of potential, that, he could go this far. But I'm very thankful. I'm very fortunate enough. There's, a colleague of mine, Shakil. He works with us at Inventive, on the same position, and he is very close to Sahal. All right, he spotted his talent, and he felt, that there is something in this kid, okay, that if given a platform, he can go to an extensive level. And that's when, he came back to us telling us the very same thing. There's this guy named Sahal, and he is this stand for big things and so on and so forth. All we said to him is, if you believe in that kid and if you think he's made for big things, please go ahead. And that's when he started talking to Sahal, and he got him on board. And just then, the rest was all a blessing, I can say. The way, Sahal took this opportunity, from that was given by Kerala. He worked so hard, okay, that what exactly was the next. Okay, he made it to the senior team. He got his ISL debut the following year. He went on to play 17 games in the following season. Won the Hero ISL Emerging Player Award. Made it to the under 23 team. Made it to the senior national team. Won the AIFF Emerging Player Award and the FPI Award, and continues to play for India and Kerala Blasters. One of the most, he is termed as one of the most gifted players in Indian football. One of the most talented footballers, I could say. And yes, all I said to him, I have a very close bonding and relation with him. All I've said to him, if he keeps his head down, focuses on really what matters, okay, he's going to go a long, long way ahead.
So do you represent only players or do you represent managers also?
We do represent several managers. One of them was Steve Coppell, to let you know. We've been with him, in 3 projects together. The first one was with Kerala Blasters. The second one was with Jamshedpur Tata. And the third one, was 2 seasons ago with ATK.
Okay, so I have a friend Sharath. He is from Dream United Bangalore. Okay, he has sent in these questions like, you have provided a lot of players to Bangalore Super Division teams. How is the Bangalore football and like the teams and the league according to you? Like, do you see a lot of talent there?
Yes, again, there is a lot of talent in Bangalore. The leagues are good, like Bangalore Super. There are a couple of teams, that play the Bangalore Super Division. They play the I League Second Division. They play some local tournaments as well. So it gives an opportunity, for players to perform and be on a higher level, on a competitive level. Because at the end of the day, what matters to players is, that they are playing competitive football. No matter what league they're playing, the more football they play, the more better they get. And that's what I've said to some players, rather than signing at a bigger club for a higher fee, at times, okay, it is wise enough, for you, uh, rather than going and signing to a club where you would not make it to the playing time, rather you grab some playing time, you evolve better, and then you make up a move, to a bigger team, a better team, for whatever the price is. But I would say you play more football, you enjoy yourself, okay, keep doing what you're doing, and things would go your way. That's what I say to the players.
So like a question just creeped into my mind. Okay, like you mentioned Steve Coppell, like you were managing him. So players like Ian Hume, Steve Coppell, they would have had manager, agents or companies representing them outside India when they were playing for
Yes.
in various countries. So is it necessary
Mhm.
to have an Indian agent when you come to India?
See, again, we work extensively in the Indian market. We're good in the Indian market. So at times, what happens is, either the players directly come to us, or it's vice versa, or it is, their agent approaches us, and we work it out. We collaborate together. We have an agreement together, and that's when we take it further. So it works vice versa. Because now, see, if for example I'm an agent that works in the Indian football market, I would not have I have good contacts in the Indian market. I would not have the very same contact, the same relation in the Australian market or in the US market. So, again, it's a matter of, an agent is always as good as how his phone book is, has how good his network is. So that's how it works. That's the reason why people collaborate. Teamwork comes in place, and that's how it's done together.
So my next question is, how important is Baljit Rihal in your career?
Yes, he's played a very vital role, in shaping my career. Uh, I would say, he's a person who's invested given me the platform, invested a lot of trust, and given me the opportunity to uh, work together with him. He's taught me a lot new things, and yes, it's just that we work with each other, and and every day has been a learning experience. As I said, we continue to learn, grow, and evolve, and that's the best thing about this journey, I would say, with him. But he's a person who's taught me a lot, I would say, and I'm definitely grateful, for the opportunity, for the platform, and for everything that I've had through him.
So my next question is a little bit controversial, and maybe most of the like players or not players, the spectators have this point of view or have doubts. So like agents get a lot of sticks. They get termed as uh, bad advice. Even recently, Gary Neville accused what's his name, Carlos Tevez' agent, that he spoke whatnot, and that's why he left United. How true is it? Like like is it like that, or like are agents being portrayed in the bad light?
See, I'll be very honest, again, what you say, I will agree with you. We do often receive the stick because what happens is people tend to speak, okay? You do good or you do bad, people tend to speak. But at times, people speak when they do not know what the inside story is, okay? Now, if at all there's an effort made, to know what exactly, is the inside story. Now, most of us would not know what exactly happened between Tevez's transfer, okay? Nothing has been leaked out in the media. So that is the reason, that could be the purpose of Gary Neville's comment on the situation. Now, if at all someone knows what exactly the situation is and why exactly this was done, that's when we wise to know. But we often receive stick like this, but at the same time, our focus is not to be to put time on that, rather focus on what really matters, the player, the club, and what's really important. Rather, people will often speak. There are 1.2 billion people in the world, okay, and they will speak. Not 1.2 billion, at least a few thousands would speak. You wouldn't have that much time to reply and to respond to everyone, right? So what I would say is focus on what really matters, and just continue to do what you're doing. Do the good what you're doing, and the rest follows.
So you have worked with huge names in the Indian footballing culture like Ian Hume or maybe Steve Coppell, like others like Sahal. You bought them up, you as a company. How is it working with like huge stars like who have come down to India?
I'll be very honest, again, all these guys, the gem of a people, right? At times, people do think that, they're big superstars and they would have a lot of ego and a lot of, they would not be easy to work with or speak with. But I can tell you, with all my heart, that those are the most sweetest and the most lovely people that I have met, who've taught me so much and who've been with me through my journey. Even when I was eventually growing up and new into this industry, I would say it's been like good close to 2.5 years for me right now with Inventive. And um, you know they none of these guys, be it an Ian Hume or be it Rafael Augusto or an Andy Keogh or Nereus Valskis, any one of them, uh, they are big names. They have achieved a lot extensively in their career. But again, when it came to the relation that we had was always more of a brotherly relation. Always took me down like a family, and it was vice versa. There was always love, emotions involved, and that's what made our working easy, our relationship better. And that's the reason I say it's very easy working with them, and it's indeed a pleasure, I would say.
Now let's move on, like in the education part. Okay, suppose a
Uh-huh.
person wants to become an agent today. So like what must that person do? Like do you have any advice for them?
Oh, absolutely. To be very precise, there is not, earlier there was a lot of degrees and a lot of exams involved, agent exams, etc., that was involved, which has all been scrapped up a few years ago. But all you need to have is just the physical strength, the mental knowledge, just be aware about what the market is, be a bit smart, have good network, be honest, be polite, calm, is, I would say, these are the values that are required. these are something that is really required for you to become a successful agent, along with having good players and presenting them well to clubs, and the rest will move its way.
So I just wanted to ask you, like, how hectic is it for you during the transfer season?
It's absolutely not hectic. I'll
Yeah.
correct you down there. It's not hectic at all. It's something that I'm very passionate about. It's something that drives me crazy. It's something that keeps me on my toes. And the two of my favorite words that I always look forward to hearing is "deal done." So it keeps me moving.
Okay, like, okay, if you could point out one transfer which you were very satisfied when the deal was done, which one would that be?
I would say two that are very that I was massively involved in brokering and getting past the line. One was the Nivea Stang ball, that was facilitated by us. Myself, Viljeet were involved in it, and where we facilitated a multi-crore deal for Nivea Sports and the Football Sports Limited, FSDL. And the other one was Rafael Augusto to Bengaluru. So these were the two transfers that really uh, drive me. The other one, I would say, if you'd ask me one more, if you give me a chance to say one
Sure,
more,
sure.
I would say Augustin Fernandez. The guy came back after a big injury, had didn't have a very good season, and we were striving hard to get him an opportunity, and finally Tata came up, gave him a platform, let him have a trial for a week or so, and eventually went on to sign transfer window. So yes, that was another transfer that really, really made me happy.
So, have you ever been wrong? Like, you have scouted a player, you thought that guy won't make it, but he went on to make it.
Uh, Abhi, again, honest on this. First of all, we see uh, when we speak to a player, at times you do get intuitions, right? So when you do get an intuition, you know what the player is thinking, and we know what you're thinking. And for me, it's always been very important to have the player on the same page as me, okay, or maybe me to be on the same page as the player, and both need to work together, strive together to achieve the same goal. If at all, for example, there is a player who's aiming for aiming to go on the other side, on side A, and we are striving to get onto side B, it's really not going to work. It's just two opposite directions, and it could get haywire. There could be a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion, and stuff like that. So for me, when I do want to sign a player, okay, no matter how good he is, if I want to work with the player, I need to make sure either me as an agent on the same page as him, or he as a player is on the same page as me, and we need to be together. Because at the end of the day, what matters is you need to be there for your player, and you're only going to be there for your player if you guys are together and if you're on the same page as him. So that's what I feel. That's my opinion on it.
So, on that note, I'll ask you one final question, okay? Whom do you
Uh-huh.
prefer? If suppose tomorrow your company has to sign the player for as a player agent, whom do you prefer, Messi or Ronaldo?
Both are extremely talented. Both are extremely talented, and it'll be a tough choice to say. I'm a big fan of Messi. At the same time, you absolutely know what Ronaldo can bring on the table. So it's really a tough one to make, but I think I would go with Ronaldo for some reason.
Okay, on
He's
that
got
note,
some.
yeah, so Wilbur Lasrado, thank you so much for talking to us. We wish you all the best for the future campaigns, and we wish you go on to sign multi more deals, maybe in English Premier League next, like like a higher level. So thank you so much for talking to us, and again, I hope we can talk again soon.
It's indeed a pleasure again. Thank you so much for having me here. I really hope one day that that comes true, and I wish you the best. And stay safe and stay at home. Thank you.